Impact Wrestling's biggest show of the year, Slammiversary, is the celebration of the 18th anniversary of the pro wrestling company. On the action-packed pay-per-view card, X Division champ Willie Mack defends the title against the talented Chris Bey, who will be without his main Mizan, his guiding Lizites, the pride of the 80s, Johnny Swinger Daddy. Thank you, Swinger. Hey, what's the deal with Brandon Told not allowing you to be in Chris Bey's corner at Slammiversary?
Well, he's been camping outside Jack Tunney's office, I guess. Somehow he got me banned, but as all the Mizarks know, the swingman, has a plan, Daddy.
Yes. Hey, Slammiversary, Saturday, July 18th, with no fans in attendance, obviously, because of COVID-19. But it is available on Fight TV and pay-per-view. Johnny, what's it like working shows with no crowd?
Well, you know what? There's not a bunch of people pestering you, for one, not trying to grab at you and pull on your outfits. And, you know what I mean? So trying to grab the fanny pack, trying to steal my gimmicks. You know what I mean? So that part of it's good. But we do miss the revenue from the ticket sales because that all contributes to paydays, and that's what it's all about.
Hey, tell us about Chris Bey, his talent, and your alliance with him.
Well, I'd only align with the best, and that kid just kind of came out of nowhere and took everybody by storm, and as long as I've been around, I think I got a pretty good eye for talent, but when someone jumps on the scene like him, he seemed like the perfect protege for me, and he was willing to listen. Unlike some of these kids that think they know it all, he actually took some of my advice, applied it, and reaped the benefits. And come Slammiversary, he's going to show everybody when he becomes a new champion.
And what will it mean to you when Bey wins that X Division title? And what celebration is there being planned?
Well, you know what? You don't want to plan too much in advance because things change every day. But I'm sure it's going to be a big night, and there'll be a few surprises there, probably more than a few. I definitely predict victory. I know Willie Mizarks' weaknesses, and you can rest assured that I've relayed them all to the finesser, and he's going to have a strategy out there, and if he follows it to a T, he will be successful, I predict.
Well, Swinger, you got to have like a big giant cake or something ready, maybe a little bubbly or something to celebrate afterwards, right?
Oh, you got to watch the carbs, Daddy. That bubbly stuff, that's for the other guy in the other show. Got to keep our abs chiseled and grizzled, Daddy. So, no, we don't need any of that, but they're usually not, Rizats usually aren't far behind. So, they're always included in the post-celebration there.
Yeah, good call. Hey, what makes Johnny Swinger, this sort of, 1980s throwback character, work?
I don't know about any throwback. What's this 80s thing, man? It's just, we just do it the right way, Daddy. That's if we do it the way it needs to be done, and the way it's always worked, it always will work. So why break it if it's not, why fix it if it's not broken? That's what I say.
Hey, tell us about working with Impact Wrestling Knockout original legend Madison Rayne on Locker Room Talk.
Oh my gosh, what an unbelievable rub he's given to me, and then vice versa. I mean, we just, unbelievable chemistry there. Hottest show on late night. Just can't be disputed. Whenever we're on there, all eyes are on us. I mean, you just can't argue that. I mean, she's great. I'm great. When you put us together, it's unbelievable greatness for however long the segment goes.
Are you like the Ed McMahon, the Andy Richter of that show?
I don't know about those guys, but I think I'm a little funnier than those guys. A little more creative.
And hey, I'll tell you what, she does a nice job on commentary with Josh Matthews. Those two have some type of chemistry.
Yeah, I've seen some of that too. Yeah, I wonder what that's all about. Behind the scenes, maybe.
Hey, Johnny, what's it been like working with Impact Wrestling and being on AXS TV?
Well, this is my second go-around with from the original TNA, and I have to say this is, thus far, this has been a much better run for me. I've had a lot more fun with it, and unbelievable talent roster there, male and female. There's not one dud on that roster, and anybody you get a chance to interact with on there has just been golden for me, and I look forward to a lot more coming up.
And how about the lingo, just the talk, the Mizarks, things like that? Just where does that come from?
From all my years of my illustrious career, the bits and pieces that I've picked up along the way from so many people that are no longer with us and some that still are. Just a collection of, gold gems, however you want to say it. If you go around the world several times, you pick things up. You know what I mean? I've been able to pick up some things in all different corners of the globe and apply them to the current landscape, and it still works, Daddy. Still works.
Hey, are you still a swinger?
Always and forever.
And how did you get the return spot?
Don't tell the whiz ice.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. That's right. We might edit that little part out, okay?
Yeah, kayfabe that, Daddy.
Yes.
A lot of assets here. A lot of assets.
We don't want anything at the home front. Anything there. We'll keep it all good. All good. Hey, how did you get this return spot with Impact Wrestling?
It was about a year ago. I was laying out at the pool on the 4th of July, like I always do, 3 days after celebrating Canada Day. And my good Canadian friend, Mr. Scott D'Amore, who has been in my corner since the beginning of my career, going all the way back to WCW days, pitched me an idea, and I thought it was unbelievable, and I thought we could really make a run for it, and it's been as good or better than I think both of us expected.
Yeah, and hey, Johnny, was there a certain time or spot at those beginning stages or even a little later where it was like, hey, wow, this is really cool, this is working, this is going?
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean, doing it as long as I have, you don't get a lot of opportunities like that, and like I said, when I first heard the first pitch, I knew right away that was for me, and it was me. So there was no, man, how am I going to pull this off? What do I need to do? It was just already inside of me, and then I was given the opportunity to just let it all out there.
Hey, can we maybe see the Syndicate coming back or Elite Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions making an appearance?
Man, you just never know, right? You got all these surprises coming up. I was taught by old Honky Tonk. He said, never say never.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, describe also, the ring gear is so cool. Now, is this something you have in your wardrobe, or is this something you have to go out and buy, or is someone making this for you? Are you able to give us a little bit of the insight on the ring gear?
You're talking about the swinglet that I wear week in and week out?
Man, the colors are shining.
That's right, Daddy. You got to shine, right? That's what it's all about. It's about catching your eye. And, you don't want to dress like the guy in the second row. You know what I mean? If you can go get the outfit at Walmart, that's not going to cut it, Daddy. I mean, you got to have the glitz and the glamour and the pizzazz, And, man, that's where it's at. And I got a special lady out there that constructs these outfits for me. She works for me exclusively, so there's not going to be any repeats, no copycats out there. And I'm just firing all cylinders right now.
Yeah, we have to keep her on the QT too, so no one else can infringe on that. So you have your own thing right there. What music is Johnny Swinger listening to?
Oh man, I just listened to VanHalen 1984 just before I took this call from you guys. I mean, those guys are red hot. I mean, don't talk about style. You know what I mean? The yellow zebra print. I mean, how can you go wrong with that stuff? I mean, they know how to dress. They know how to act. They know how to talk to the Riz-ass. I mean, that's how you get over right there. VanHalen, they're the deal, Daddy.
I'm thinking Swinger is more David Lee Roth Van Halen than Sammy Hagar Van Halen. I like them both. But
yeah, Sammy Hagar's no slouch, but Dave's the showman, Daddy. He's got the high kicks and the back flips. He could tag up with me probably, and we'd probably be a pretty formidable tag team.
Oh, that would be very cool. Oh, man, the Swingers, the Van Halens.
Right.
Hey, do you watch any? You know what's cool, too, Johnny? There's this 80s show, The Goldbergs, that's on TV. I don't know what you're watching or if that's a show you check out.
I've never watched the Goldbergs, but I've been run over by the Goldberg on a couple of occasions, and I'm trying to forget about that. But as far as TV programs, I'm actually into a show that is filmed not too far from my house called Ozark. It's on the Netflix, and man, what an unbelievable show! And just man, the hits just keep coming, and they come out of nowhere. And there's a little bit of REO Speedwagon in there for anyone out there that's watched the show. So that's been pretty entertaining for the swingman here recently.
Hey, Johnny, do you ever have any interest in doing some acting?
Little bits over the years. I've had a couple little small roles, but I'm always dedicated to the professional wrestling business that I've done my whole life. And is, you know, that acting industry is very similar, whereas you got to give your whole life to, and I only have 24 hours in a day, so I just never had enough time to dedicate to that. So the small things, a couple things I've gotten over the years have come through the wrestling business. So that was fun, and I'd be willing to do more, but it's not something I'm willing to put the wrestling career aside for. I'm not ready to do that at this point. But I'm open to anything, you know.
Hey, what was it like being a part, and I hope I have this right, correct me if I'm wrong, that you were there during the end of the the WCW days?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, I left WCW towards the end of '99. And that's when I went into ECW from there. And then when ECW closed, I headed back to WCW, and it wasn't much longer before the big buyout. And I was on a couple of Nitros there and a Thunder, and then it was, you know, around March of '01 is when Mr. McMahon, the old man McMahon Jr. there, took over everything, and, you know, was back to the independents and international there for a couple of years.
But Swinger, you've always landed on your feet, and you've been with the big companies, you've been with the indies, you've traveled all over. What has it been? What has that been like? Why have you been able to survive, so to speak?
Just persistence and wanting to be in it. Very easy to get discouraged, but if you want to do something and you're willing to do the work and put the time in, you'll end up there. You'll end up where you want to be. And I've never really had a down period. Things got a little slow there, like I said, in '01 to '03 when I got the first run with TNA. But you just stick with it. It's like any other thing, any other career. If you want to be there, do everything it takes to get to be there and stay there, and it'll work out for you. Just another honky tonk. He said the only way you won't make it is if you quit. That's the only way. So just keep going with what you're doing. If you enjoy what you're doing, keep doing it. If you hate it, don't do it. If you don't even like it, don't do it. But if you like it and really want to do it, keep with it. Eventually you get a break.
Hey, you mentioned Honky Tonk Man, and he's got that rhythm and soul, that Elvis going and all. Is Johnny Swinger a little bit of that fan?
He's one of my all-time favorite. Growing up and then getting in the ring with, one of my favorites to get in the ring with, one of my favorites to drive down the road with. He's just an encyclopedia of professional wrestling knowledge. I mean, if you want to learn something, get in a car with that guy. The Great Bundy, he was another one. I used to drive with both of them at the same time, if you can believe those lessons. That's just where you learn. You learn in the car, driving with these guys and listening to them talk, and you really learn everything that way. You don't learn everything in 6 months or 8 months over a course of so many years of being in contact with guys like that. You just can't help but pick things up along the way.
You've been a multi-time singles champion, tag team champion, and during your first run with TNA, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, you were a tag team champion with Simon Diamond. And what was that like?
Right. Oh, good, because we're great friends, for one. It's always fun to work with your friends, and we had a great run with ECW prior to that. And TNA went and just continued what we were doing there, and at that time it worked, and there was some great tag teams there for us to wrestle, and we just, right off the bat coming in, we had some hot matches, and it made for some really good shows for a good period of time there, and it was a really good run. And I would say my best run up until now in 2020. I don't know how I can top what I'm doing now. Just keep doing it for as long as I can. But I really enjoying what I'm doing, and it's comfortable for me, and it's very natural. And I just want to see how far I can go with it.
Now you're taking this far. You are doing very well with this. It's been so entertaining, so much fun to watch you come out there and do your thing, man. It really is. A couple more questions. We'll wrap this up. What does Tony Parisi mean to you?
Childhood idol. He's the first larger-than-life human wrestler that I saw as a kid that yeah, I want to be like that guy. He was the man.
Did you get any advice or anything from him?
Very little, because we're talking 30 plus years ago, professional wrestling was a lot more closed and protected than what it is now. And I got a few things out of him that I didn't realize until years later. Well, you know what I mean? It sounds strange, but there was no direct, hey, this is how you do it, that's how you do it. I'll just give you a quick example here. 1996, I've been wrestling maybe 2 years, and we were at a show in Toronto, Canada, and he was running it, Tony Cannonball Parisi, and it was a 2-day event. There was maybe like 40 or 50 wrestlers there. And I drove with him, and we were driving back, and he looked over at me, he goes, you know, all those guys we had there, he goes, you and that Sean guy will probably make some money in this business. And that Sean guy was Val Venus.
Wow.
And he was right. Val had a heck of a career. I'm enjoying the hell out of this, and it's still going. And just those little things. But even when he said it, that was a lot of validation. Like, he wouldn't say that. These old timers, they don't say anything if they don't really mean it, you know.
It was a different era, a different time of wrestling. And
Sure.
And Johnny, you were born in Niagara Falls, New York, correct?
That's correct, yep.
What made you then decide? Was it because of Tony? Was it because of it on TV that, hey, you know what? I want to become a professional wrestler?
I knew it the first time I saw it in person. I think I was maybe 8 or 9 years old. And I don't ever really consider myself a fan. I watched it like, I'm going to watch this so that I can learn how to do this. You know what I mean? And like I said, throughout my teenage years, I was setting up the rings and all that, but I never really saw how the wrestling business worked until I went through the Sweet Daddy Siki Hutchinson training camp. That's when I really didn't, it wasn't out there to see. I mean, you actually had to go through it to see what it was all about. And it was no joke, man. It was a pretty serious camp, but put it up there with the Hearts, the Dungeon, all that. Anybody in the world of Gagne's camp. I mean, they ran you 5-6 hours a day, 3 days a week, and you were going to be a pro or you weren't going to be around anymore.
Ron and Sweet Daddy have a long list of talented wrestlers that have came through their training, including you, and that's just really a testament to them and to all those that work for them. Okay, so Slammiversary, we've got the big pay-per-view, Fight TV coming up. That's going to be just a huge event on July 18th. And there's also Slammiversary Celebration, which is a virtual fan fest, which is going to be really cool. It's going to be earlier that day, starting in the morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And to check that out and to get information about that, you can go to impactwrestling.com for the fan fest. That'll be cool, virtually trying something different. I'd like to end it with this, Johnny, and I appreciate the time and all your time and what you're doing. Now, we mentioned you were born in Niagara Falls. What I'd like to know is, do you know someone or ever think about going over the falls in a barrel?
I went to a couple of those, and it's not a barrel, man. It's a big inflatable tube, but I still wouldn't go in the thing. Absolutely not, under no circumstances. Those guys are nuts to be doing that. And I think way back, somebody actually tried to go over in a real barrel, and they didn't live to tell the story. So, no, it's not something I would. I'm not a big risk taker. When I climb up to the top rope, my nose starts bleeding. I just get back down. You know what I mean? I don't want anything to do with that super high risk lifestyle.
That is great. I'm thinking if there's anyone in Impact Wrestling daring enough to do it, it would be Sami Callihan or Dr. Ross.
Possibly, yeah, those guys will do anything, right? Yeah, let them do it. I'll watch. Give me some popcorn. I'll stand there to watch.
All right, Swinger, take us out on this Slammiversary coming up. Give us the swing, man, and you wrap it up.
Slammiversary, Daddy, don't miss it. A whole bunch of surprises. You never know who's going to show up. Swingman, he might be in the first segment. He might be in the ninth. Who knows? It's a can't-miss event. Make sure you catch it on pay-per-view, all the outlets you got to get to, maybe on closed-circuit screen. I don't know, Daddy. Whatever you got to do to catch it, make sure you catch it. It's going to be the biggest event of the year.